Yo, what up, Facebook? What up, YouTube? What's going on, guys? Guys, I am really super fired up today. You know, I truly believe that our industry is about lifting people up and giving them wings, okay? Giving them wings. This is actually what I was taught and trained by my millionaire mentor when I was just in my early 20s, is that we're in the Friends for Life program. And the whole purpose of our industry wasn't about lining your own pockets. It was about being able to help other people get to freedom. Okay, that was literally drilled into my DNA, guys, 30 years ago. So, you know, you see a lot of 7-figure and 8-figure income earners, and all they do is flash these big checks, okay? And they use them as enticement to bring people in. And a lot of times max out their credit cards, use up their entire savings account, and even take out business loans, and even take out second mortgages against their house in order to start a business, okay? Now, in most cases, the cases that I've seen anyway, the 7-figure income earners are the only ones that are making the money. And all these people that put all the money into believe that they were going to get to freedom, all they end up with is debt. A lot of times I get calls when people are on the verge of bankruptcy and their dreams have been broken and they have a very bad taste in their mouth for our industry. And it's very unfortunate. It's a real shame because we're in an industry that, you know, you can tell whether or not a leader actually understands our industry, because they will have tons and tons of rags to riches stories in their organization. And if they don't, you got to run for the hills, guys. And I'm not kidding you when I tell you this. What you want to do before you get involved with anyone, okay, anyone that claims that they're a 7 or 8-figure income earner, is you want to ask to see at least 5 rags to riches stories of people that they have helped go from flatline to freedom. Okay, what's flatline? Flatline is when you're broke, flatline broke, okay? No credit cards, no savings accounts left, nothing. Or you lost your job, you're bankrupt, whatever, and you take out the last little bit of money, or you go to your contacts and you rebuild your confidence, you rebuild your self-esteem, you step into your personal power, you step into leadership, and then, you know, 100, 250, 300, 350, 400, 500, a million. Those are the stories that you want to see, okay? Not from other marketers, guys. I'm talking about from average, everyday people, single moms, blue-collar workers, people that have never marketed a day in their life before, people that were down and out, people that lost their jobs, pink slip, downsized. Those are the stories, guys. And if they don't have any of those stories, you are going to be fleeced for everything. And they will tell you everything that you want to hear. But if there's no income stories, run for the hills, okay? Now, the story that you're about to hear today is a phenomenal story, guys, because the gentleman that you're about to meet, he was only 17 years old, okay? 17, okay? 17, guys, when he caught the vision of wanting to be an entrepreneur. And what happened was that, you know, when you're right around that age, 17 or so, you know, I mean, I know because I've got a son that's now 20, but, you know, at 17, you know, they got a little bit of a chip on their shoulder and their ego is kind of inflated and they think that they have a better way. And that's kind of what happened here. Okay. So for probably about the first year and a half, he was trying to reinvent the wheel and come up with different strategies. And no, I'm not going to watch the videos. I'm going to come up with my own way. And he saw all these success stories around from my students of 10,000, 25,000, 35,000, 45,000 in the very first month. And he said, whoa, I think it's time to be coachable and surrender my pride and my ego and go all in. And that's exactly what he did. So he just plugged into training. He went through the training videos. there's only 3 that he had to go through. It's not like he got to go through 25 or 30. So he went through 3 training videos 6 times in a row. And from that point to today, guys, that's only a year and a half, he has made over $250,000. He just turned 20 years old in September, and he's already experienced having $10,000 days. $10,000 days, guys, okay, with real value and helping people get to real life transformation. So it is with my great, great pleasure to introduce you to my good friend, Josh Cousins.
Yo, what's up, guys?
Standing ovation, brother. Oh, what an amazing journey this has been. Wow. Okay.
Definitely. It's been absolutely insane. You know, just a year and a half, how I went from completely broke, without a job, living in my mother's house, and we go into this later on about, you know, like my situation back then, because I haven't really shared it. I've never shared where I came from. I only really kind of kept people up to date with what I've been able to achieve. I never really went into the personal side of things because for me, I wasn't really ready for it. But today is the day. So yeah. But I mean, it's been an insane journey. Just a year and a half, I've been able to change my life. Not only my life, but you know, in dozens of other people's lives. Kind of got them in the industry, and now they're working full time. They've got a vision. They know exactly where to be. So you know, it really has been amazing. You know, can't say anymore.
Fantastic. So take us back a little bit. I know that when you started, you caught the vision of being an entrepreneur. You were only 17 years old. And, you know, I know that at that sort of age, you know, parents, obviously, they want the best for us. And they want us to go to university. And they want us to go get a degree. What did you find was happening when you were, you know, not making any money and you were working away on your computer? What were some of the things that you were hearing from your parents at that time at 17 years old?
Yeah, so when I was 17, I you know, going back a few more years, I was so my parents were divorced. My dad left when I was 6. Haven't seen him since. So I never really had a father figure there. So first of all, that's just a chip on the kid's shoulder, you know, if they don't have a dad there for them. So that was a huge thing for me. I was like the kind of the man of the house for my mum and my little brother. And growing up, you know, it was pretty tough. My mum, you know, was living off, you know, government money, you know, help from the government. So that was pretty tough. And she was a heavy alcoholic, which is a shame, and she still is. And you know, it really is. It's a hard thing to grow up with. And you know, I remember getting into high school, and you know, I was one of those kids who was the loner. You know, I was the loser. I didn't have any friends. Was crap at socializing. I could not make any friends. People just didn't like me for some reason. And I went through high school, and I got to the last year of high school. So that was when I was, you know, just about to turn 16. And I dropped out. So I dropped out when I was 15. I didn't graduate from high school. I didn't have a single diploma. And luckily, my uncle, he ran an electrical wholesaler. So I kind of rang him up, and I was like, hey, can I have a job? And you know, luckily enough, he said, yeah, I'll give you a job, which was absolutely amazing. So you know, summer holidays went past when I was 15, so turned 16. Then I moved to the UK, and I started, you know, getting paid a little bit of money, like $800 a month, $900 a month, which isn't bad. And I really enjoyed it the first year. And that year went by. Then I was 17, right? And I was like, I cannot do this anymore. The sound of the alarm clock after a year. I know it's not a long time for most people, but after a year for me, it was. I couldn't even. I just wanted to chuck my phone out the window, you know. And I got to that point, and then I was 17. It was 2016, end of 2016, December, just after Christmas, when I came across Black Ops, Millionaire Mentoring. And you know, I was in this stage in my life where I didn't really have much money. I only had like $800, $900 coming in every month, and I had to pay rent. You know, I had to pay rent, buy food, pay my taxes, pay the bills, pay my phone bills, pay all of that sort of stuff. And I was just fed up with it. I was saving $50 a month, you know, minimum at the end of each and every single month. So I kind of, you know, thought I need a change. So I started looking online, Googling, like we all do when we first get started, ways to make money online. And you know, I started looking around on Facebook, and then I came across someone, a 17-year-old who did 50K in 6 weeks, and that blew my mind, blew my absolute mind. I watched a couple webinars, and the amount of success stories was insane to me. You know, how can someone they go from nothing to 5 figures within, you know, the span of weeks or a couple months? And that really did blow my mind. And I kind of jumped into it. I had no money, and this again, it should go to show that there really is no excuse, no matter what anyone says. You know, I know I didn't have any kids, or I didn't have, like, I wasn't in debt, but I was making $800 a month, and I came up with the money, right? I didn't have $1,000. I didn't have any money at all to spend. So I got my shit together. I sold a bunch of stuff. I worked overtime, and I got the money, right? And it was just after Christmas. I invested in that, and you know, I got in there, and like you mentioned in the beginning of the call, you know, sometimes you can let your ego get in the way, and that's exactly what happened to me. And it really does happen to most people, you know, whether you're 17 or 50, your ego gets in the way. For most people, it just gets in the way, and it did for me. And for a good year and a half, I was trying Facebook, I was trying Instagram, I was trying agencies, ads, you name it. I was trying everything, spending a bunch of money. I was making a little bit of money in return, but just not profit. It was going out the door for like expenses, overhead, and that for me was horrible, because when you're going through that, you just think that you're not enough, that there's something wrong with you, that you're just not made for it, and that's when limiting beliefs, self-doubt comes in, and it's a vicious cycle that goes round and round and round and round. And I end of 2017 October time. So like this time 2 years ago, I'd quit my job. Literally this time 2 years ago, I quit my job. And I had no money in my bank. I had like a couple grand in my bank. And, you know, at that time there, I was trying, you know, a few different businesses, you know, drop shipping, solo ads, kind of trying everything. And I quit my job, and I went back to France where my mother lived. And I had kind of moved back there, you know, to be like, okay, well, I don't really need to pay much rent here. I don't really need to pay for much food here. I'm cool. I'm gonna make this work. And you know, I try it out. You know, I give it my best shot for a good 6 months, and I don't make any money. I lose all my money. I lose my 2 grand, right? And I'm sitting there, I'm like, no way. I spent 2 years at a job, saved 2 grand, to lose it. You're telling me I'm gonna have to go back to a job for like another 2, 3, 4, 5 years? I was terrified. And I remembered, wait, I'd invested into Millionaire Mentoring a year and a half ago.
Wait, hold on a second here.
Yeah, exactly.
Ego all this time.
Exactly. That's exactly what happened. And I was like, wait a minute. All right, I invested in that a year and a half ago. I never went through it because my ego was way too big than what it should have been. And I just sat down, and I was like, okay, I just gotta, you know, go focus, watch the videos, watch the training, and be coachable. Like, surrender your ego. That's what's gonna dictate someone's success in the online world. Is if you can surrender your ego and be coachable. Literally, there's 2 things. If you don't do that, you're not gonna succeed. It's as simple as that. If you do that, if you surrender it, you be coachable, you will succeed. It's just literally a matter of time. And I didn't know that at the time, but I did. I just surrendered my ego, and I watched the videos. I went into personal development like crazy. I just dived straight in, like right in a deep end. I didn't just dip my toes in. I jumped in the deep end. And you know, I went through a bunch of the Millionaire Mentoring training. I literally read a bunch of books, and I started applying it. So I'd done that for like a few weeks, just literally diving in 6 hours a day. And in those 6 weeks, it was amazing. It was an amazing journey, right? I was broke, and I was thinking I was gonna have to go back to a job, and I just gave it a try. And I had my like $1,000 commission come in after I started applying these things onto Facebook and organic strategies on Facebook. So like $1,000 come in, and that came in like a few days after. And I can't even tell you how happy I was. I'm pretty sure you know. And everyone watching this who has made a bit of money online, who's made their first commission, you just jump up and you go crazy. You know, you're super happy. It's just adrenaline pumping through your body. And I was like, God, $1,000, that's awesome. You know, and because that $1,000, you know, in my head I was like, okay, I'm good for like another month, you know, for rent, for food, for stuff that I want to do. And then, you know, I posted it on Facebook, so sharing my results, you know, sharing people what I've been able to do, kind of just giving out value, not expecting anything in return. Another one comes in, you know, so it's a couple sales now, you know, And then it just kicks in. It kicks in again and again and again. And I'm sharing my results. I'm showing what I learned. I'm showing what I applied. And I kept on doing that. And within 4 months from that point there where I was completely broke, I spent all my money on ads, dead broke, depressed. I was suicidal for months. And that's a horrible thing. And I really do feel for those people who go through that. Depression is a real thing. And I experienced it firsthand. And it was such an overwhelming feeling of just overwhelmed. And from that point there to 4 months later, I had crossed 100K. There was 100K in 4 months from applying what I had taught, applying what I taught in what you taught in Millionaire Mentoring. It was absolutely nuts. And just because that's for the simple fact that I was coachable. And those 4 months were insane, like an insane amount of growth happened in those 4 months. More than I could have ever fit in on my own in 5, 10 years, 15 years.
Yeah.
It's the fact. And for me, it wasn't even about the money, right? Of course, you're in it to get rich at first, right? You're in it to make yourself happy, but then you start to realize, all right, money doesn't really make me happy, but it's good to have it, right? But what made me happy was the fact that I was able to grow into a person who was able to turn nothing into 100K within 4 months. That's just a priceless feeling. And another feeling is being able to bring someone in and to give them the same chance of success. Seeing your team members have $1,000 day, it's just an insane feeling. And that was it for me. Within those 4 months, that's exactly what I experienced. I went from suicidal thoughts to literally the top of the world. Top of the world. I really was. And for me, I can understand when people doubt themselves, when they have limiting self-beliefs, because we've all been through it. You've been through it. I've been through it. A lot of people watching this are going through it, or they've been through it, or they will go through it. And it happens. But for me, the fact that I've been able to do this, someone who is not academic at all, I have no degree. I didn't graduate from high school. No high school diploma. No nothing. I don't even have a piece of paper that can say I can't do anything. And I was able to turn my life around, just flip it around, just a couple switches, being coachable and surrendering my ego. That was literally it that did it for me.
Wow, that's phenomenal. It's funny because people probably hear this from me, and I sometimes feel like I sound like a broken record. Quite just be coachable, surrender your pride and your ego, right? And I believe, guys, if you're tuning in and watching this, that you don't truly reach success until you can help other people and lift them up and give them wings.
Exactly.
That, in my opinion, is success. Okay. Yeah. It's not about the number you have in your bank account. It's not about a $2,000, $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 day, whatever. Okay. But here's the cool thing, guys. Okay. Now, when I post results, it's one thing, but when I've got my students posting results that you go, OMG, and you go, I want that, and that's coming from people that are learning, that is the goal. That is the goal of our industry. And I really wish that that was the goal of, these 7- and 8-figure income earners, is that to be, helping to transform other people's lives. We're in an incredible industry. We're in an incredible industry of personal transformation, guys. Personal transformation. Now, let me ask you this, Josh. So if you look back to the first year and a half where the ego was right? The ego was up there, and you may have had a little bit of a chip on your shoulder, because I know what my son was like when he was 17, right?
Yeah.
Once he reached into 19, 20, it started to kind of calm down, and now he's on a career path, and now he's in the more coachable zone, which is great. What do you think, looking back on what may have happened, if right at the beginning, on day one, if you had listened to everything I told you to do on day one, where might you be right now in 3 years? Probably at 500,000 already, right?
Yeah. I would definitely think more. I definitely think I could have done more. It's one of those things where it's like a snowball effect. For me, my business is growing like crazy. My, everything around me, my engagement, my, my contacts, the money, the people I'm helping, just going up and up and up and up like a snowball effect. And it's one of the, I've definitely looked back and I have thought, if I would have just applied what was taught and just not being a douche, not being someone with a huge ego, where would I be now? And I've thought about it so many times, and I hate thinking about it because it's regret. It's literally regret, and regret is the worst feeling in the world. Like Gary Vee said, you go into a care home full of people who are 18, 19, you look in their eyes and you see regret. It's the most horrible thing you can ever see on someone, right? And I do regret, not being coachable, not sitting down and listening. Stop trying to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
And only if everyone would do that, it would be insane. People would be able to change their life. I would, without a doubt, be at more than 500,000 right now, without a doubt. I would have been able to, because it's like asking myself, where am I going to be in 1.5 years? I would definitely see myself, making multiple six figures a year, high five figures a month, definitely, without a doubt. And a lot of people watching this, if you're not coachable, if you're, because obviously everyone calls themselves coachable, and that's just your brain rationalizing with yourself, telling yourself you're this, but you're not that, because obviously you want to feel good about yourself. You want to feel like reading a book is the thing to do. But if you're not applying it, if you're not being coachable, if you're not doing the things you're being told by someone who has got the results you want, then that's just not being coachable. And people got to look at it a point where would you be, right, in a year right now if you just started sitting down and applying? Because if you just sit down, look at what people are doing, reverse engineering what they're doing, listening to your coaches, to your mentors, just literally going through it and trying, not like applying what is being taught, whatever you're doing, it will change your life, your business, every aspect of your life. And being coachable literally goes in every aspect of life, doesn't it? Business, personal life, relationships, you name it.
Now let me ask you a question, because you brought up a really good point there. And, when people say to me, but Darren, I am coachable. Okay. I say to this, look at your bank account and you will just look at your bank account. If there's no money in your bank account, you are not being coachable, bottom line. Because every single person, like if the 17-year-old that inspired you could go from flatline zero to $50,000 in 6 weeks, guys, 6 weeks, without spending a single penny on paid ads, he was coachable. He followed exactly the strategy that I told him to do. He didn't reinvent the wheel. Okay. And I'll tell you what was really cool the first month, because he went through the training, he was like this little kid in a candy store. Oh my God. Right. And then every single day it was 1,000, 2,000, 1,000. And he finished his very first month and he had already made $30,000 his very first month. Okay. At 17. And then he got the skills better. Right. And 50 grand, right, in the very first 6 weeks. That is coachable. Okay.
Exactly.
Now let me ask you this. So once you said, okay, I'm doing it, I'm going to be coachable, and you went through the 3 training videos, like I said, what did you kind of see this same, like, and it went pop, 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 pop.
Yeah, it was gradual, then it was like vertical, like it was like a just a huge spike up. That's exactly what it was. It seems so hard to believe, and it seems like something out of a movie. And like I actually made a post about this the other day, like a few days ago, and it was about when you've got your back against the wall and it's do or die. If you can put yourself in that situation, which if you're getting started in business, and you want to make more money, there's a reason behind it. You're not happy. Your bank account looks like crap. You're not happy with your job. There's a reason why you're doing it. You don't just start a business if you're happy. Well, you can, but if you're trying to make money, there's a reason for it. And you need to kind of reframe your mind, reprogram it, and make yourself think that this needs to be do or die. And that's exactly what I did. And for me, going back to a job was literally I'm going to do this or I'm literally going to die. I could not stand it. I could not stand going to a job, and I had a crap job. I was these guys in these huge warehouses who gets a piece of paper, like an order form, and I would have to pick everything, and I was doing, 15 miles a day, 20 miles a day. Sometimes it was insane. Super, super hard work, 12 hours a day. It was nuts. And that was for me was literally dying, and doing was being coachable. So for me, everything I like, whenever someone is starting out, I literally advise them, and I tell them just to reprogram your mind and make this work, make it work. Because if you're in a position where it's do or die, you will do it. Doesn't matter about your excuses. Your excuses are just that, excuses. You're making them up in your head,
Exactly.
to make you feel comfortable. Of course, your brain wants you to be comfortable. In the moment, you do the most comfortable thing possible, and you need to reprogram your mind to rewire it and to do the most hardest thing possible, because that's what's going to make you grow. And that's exactly what I did. And the growth is insane. I'm the proof. Darren is, Sam is, Aaron is, the 17-year-old kid is. There's so many, there's so much success out there, and we all follow the same thing. Whether you're in whatever business you're in, 95% of people will be going through this.
Yeah. It's funny because people, for whatever reason, and honestly, I think it's part of the human condition, quite frankly.
Mhm.
We all battle this thing where, we don't feel worthy, we don't feel deserving, we don't love ourselves enough to just allow the abundance to flow in, and we don't have healthy boundaries in place. And the ego is what keeps us stuck, right? And if people just listen, and they just surrender your pride and your ego, just follow these steps, and a gateway is going to open. Keep on doing the personal development, and a floodgate will open. Okay. But part of their brain doesn't believe that it could really be that easy. So they want to make it harder. They literally, they want to make it harder on themselves. So they go, oh, no, that easy thing, oh, that could never work. And then go over here and they go, I got to do paid ads. I got to do solo ads. I got to do, the traffic. I got to do Google. I got to do SEO stuff. I got to write a blog. No, you don't. You just got to surrender your pride and your ego and be coachable. That's it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Did you find that for yourself? Was I pretty accurate with what I said?
Couldn't have said it better. Could not have said it better. That literally is exactly what I tell everyone. You just nailed it. You just said exactly what goes through my mind every time someone tells me no excuses. Like you said, people want it to be hard. People want to make it hard. When you think 10K a month, 10K a month is a lot of money to the average person. On a grand scheme of things, it's nothing. 10K a month though, people want it to be complicated. They want it to be Facebook ads, Google ads, a blog, solo ads as well, an email list, and this and that and this and that. I made 100K just through my Facebook profile. No group, no nothing, no ads, no solo ads, nothing. Reaching out to people, building rapport, helping people, being genuine, not being an arsehole, not faking it, nothing. I built it from the ground up because I was coachable, because I believe in simplicity. And still my business, literally 90% of it runs off of Facebook, organically, no ad spend.
Yeah.
And it's nuts that people think you have to spend. Of course, Facebook, ads in general are amazing for scaling, but it doesn't need to be that complicated. If you're a beginner, even if you're making a couple grand a month, you don't need to be jumping into ads, because most likely you will be losing money.
Yeah. And the interesting thing about it is that, and I dive deep into this whole concept in Millionaire Mentoring, is that when people come from corporate America, the business model in corporate America, which is a features and benefits, book an appointment, pitch your deal, is not our industry. It does not transfer over to our business model. Our business model is a personal development, leadership, teaching, and training business model. And they go like this. You can't transfer corporate America over to our industry. And that's why the failure rate's at 97%. People don't get it. And they think, well, geez, I'm a really good sales guy over here. Well, I have to completely retrain you then. you're gonna fall flat on your face when you come into our industry, because that's not how it's done, right? So let me ask you this, because I talk a lot about that. We're the commodity in our industry is people. Is people, right?
Exactly.
And you know, it's about helping the people and understanding where they're at and what pain are they going through, and being a leader that can show them and help them to find a way so that they can solve their pain. Do you find that that's pretty accurate, and why you made the 100,000 in 4 months?
Absolutely, absolutely. I saw people as people. I saw likes, comments, shares as people. I didn't just see them as numbers. You know, see, that's another thing. That's an ego thing. Engagement. You know, for anyone watching this, just don't ever let engagement or numbers, or because the person next to you is getting 100 likes and you're getting 10. Don't, you know, don't pressure yourself because of that. You know, when you get 10 likes on your post, that's 10 real people. Reach out to those people. Start a conversation, build something. That's how I made 100K in 4 months. That's how I've made $250,000 so far online, and that's how I will make multiple 7, 8 figures. And I know it. That's just how it's built. That's how every single person in this industry is doing it. You know, if you just see, you know, people like likes and comments and members to your group or your email list is just numbers, you will not make any money. You need to be relatable. You need to give something they can relate to, and that's exactly it. And again, this comes down to making it being super simple. You
Yeah.
know.
And you know, I always say to people that, you know, if you're on Facebook, guys, okay, pay close attention to this, what I'm about to tell you. Likes and comments will stroke your ego. Okay.
Exactly.
Conversations and relationships will stroke your bank account. Okay. And this is the truth. And every single one of my students, because see, here's the thing, even people, okay, so let me give you an example. Jennifer and Jose, they were 2 days with no water and they had an eviction notice. Okay.
Yeah.
And they basically, you know, hit their breaking point. They 6 children, guys, they were on the verge of being on the street. And they said, Darren, what do we have to do? I said, surrender your pride and your ego and just be coachable. They made over 15 grand the first month. The first year they made 157,000. So they go to a conference, like one of those big events for ClickFunnels, and they start meeting all these different marketers, right? And they meet people, they're talking about Facebook ads and solo ads and Google and SEO. And somebody said, well, you know, how have you guys been doing online? And they said, yeah, we've been doing pretty good this year. We pulled about 157,000. And the people said, well, what did you spend on ads? We didn't spend any on ads.
Yeah.
And the jaws went, what? You guys made 157,000. You didn't spend a penny on paid ads. They didn't even realize it was like a big thing, right? So they go, yeah, you know, we made 157 grand. We didn't spend a dime. They go, was that all profit? Yeah, it was all profit.
Exactly.
And it was like the room went silent. Nobody could believe that that was even possible, right? But we got countless stories. So, you know, so tell us now how these skills have now transferred over into, say, your relationships. Because I noticed, I saw some pictures there. It looks like you got a girlfriend, and
yeah.
You know, previous to that, you told me that you were like an introvert. Now you're traveling around.
Yeah. Like you know, what I learned from Millionaire Mentoring, and you know, it was, you know, it's one of those skills that can be applied in any single area of your life, not just any single business, any single area of your life. And this is applying now to my other businesses, my other entities that I'm running now. And I've literally applied everything that I learned from there, and apply them to these businesses, and they're making a killing, and they're gonna make me, you know, so much money, and they're gonna make other people so much money, right? And not only that, I met my girlfriend online, you know, my Nikki. I met her online, you know, a year ago. So you know, and that literally kind of came from attracting the things that I wanted. And you know, like I said earlier on in the call, I was super introverted. You know, I was always the loser. I was in my bedroom typing away, not really going out, not socializing, not having to know how to keep a conversation going, to the point now where that's what I do for a living. I talk to people for a living. You know, I met my girlfriend online through Facebook because we were doing the same thing, which is awesome. And this is the thing, guys, you know, it can really change your life and make you so much happier if you would just take action, get in there, and just start applying it to the things you want. You know, and that's exactly what I did, and forever grateful, you know, to be where I am now.
So let me ask you this, Josh, because you're now you're 20, you just turned 20. And what is the biggest day that you've been able to generate so far just using the strategies of Millionaire Mentoring and Black Ops?
Yeah, in the last year and a half, I've been able to close a 10K day. Like that was one client from the strategies I've learned from Millionaire Mentoring and apply them to my other business, my coaching business, and I closed a client for 10K. That was 10K complete profit. So no ad spend. So there's another thing, no ad spend. You're pretty much profiting 100%, right? So and that client there landed him, and that was 10K in my pocket. So it's absolutely nuts to be going from, and 10K was that's what I was making in a year. I made what I made in a year in a day. That's nuts. That for me is progress. And that was in a span of a year and a half. A year and a half of applying these techniques, these strategies to my life and to my business. And it completely, I don't even want to know, what's the biggest day is going to be in the next 5 years,
Yeah.
So, just from applying these simple things and the thing is of it is it's absolutely amazing. I can't wait to see where we're all going to be in a few years, so looking forward to that.
Here's the interesting thing, and people don't realize, if you're tuning into this broadcast, guys, we speak our realities into existence, guys. Okay, we speak our realities into existence. Okay,
Yeah.
and people don't understand this, but this whole concept is actually always working. The problem is that most people are speaking about the reality that they do not want. So they get around other people and they speak about all their pain and suffering and, oh man, you don't know my story. Well, let me tell you my story. Oh, I got it worse than you, right? And when you're in these groups of these pity parties, you actually get points if your story is worse than the other guys, right? And that's what people are speaking about, thinking about, writing about, and they bring it into their reality. It has to do with quantum physics and manifestation. And I talk about this in great detail, right, when I put on the intensives so that people can really understand this. Now, this is kind of like, it's a funny thing on that particular topic because, I rolled out this campaign with the 10K side hustle, right? It was only a compressed campaign. It ran for like 19 days. Okay. And I said, and this is what I said out loud. Okay. You know what? I'm going to roll out a campaign and I'm going to make between $30,000 and $50,000. And I came in at 40.
Boom. That's it. I mean? Yeah.
It doesn't get any more, aha moment than that, right? Is that whatever we believe to be true, guys, whatever we believe and we speak about into the reality, that's what shows up, right? And I kind of chuckled about it, quite frankly, because when we were back, maybe 4 or 5 days ago, and the number was only like at about 22, right? And all of a sudden it just went, right? And it comes out at the number that I spoke into the reality.
Yeah.
Right? So keep that in mind, guys. If you're tuning in today, as a takeaway for you, be very, very aware of what are you speaking about. Are you speaking about the things that you want, or are you speaking about the things that you don't want? It's very, very important. Okay, I want to be able to, guys, I told you once again, that we would be doing the naked truth. The naked truth. So I'm going to open this up, guys. We're going to have a live and interactive. Here we go. Let me just see. Okay. So we've got Wyona says, "You're amazing, job."
Thank you, Wyona. I really appreciate that.
Wow. Eagerly waiting for the interview. Well, we're live now. John says, "You're the best." Alex says, "Inspiring story."
Thank you. Yeah, I hope it inspires some of you guys.
Nikki says this is going to be interesting. Well, he's doing a great job, Nikki. Let me tell you that. He's doing a great job. Guys, I want for you to really understand this power of, just the internet. Okay, so this is actually the first time that we've actually been like this on an interview, Okay.
Yeah.
Live like this. And if I even look back, like maybe 6 months ago, right? And I remember that you came online and you said, okay, you were like really nervous and you were going to do your first Facebook Live, right?
Yeah.
If I look at the guy over here to the guy over here, it's like not even recognizable as.
Oh my God, dude, tell me about it. I was really nervous when I first went live. God, but yeah, I feel really good now. I'm really confident in myself, in my ability to help people. Just perfect.
Fantastic. Angelina's live from New York, watching live from Warrington, UK, live from South Africa. A couple tags. Okay, 12:30 a.m. He's tapping in from India. Watching from Namibia. Okay. Angeline says, loving these interviews. Too many scammers ripping off great people trying to move up. That is the truth right there. Okay. And one of the reasons why I wanted to do this series, guys, because I want for you to realize that there really is a gateway. There really is light at the end of the tunnel. Doesn't matter how far down the rabbit hole you are. And a lot of these stories that you've heard were people that were completely flatline broke, flatline, on the verge of homeless, zero money to their name. And they all have gone literally like this,
Exactly.
straight to the top by being coachable. No more running for the hills. I found the leader. Awesome. We're going to get you there, Pete. Trust me. Josh is a legend. Awesome. Hello, brother. Hello, Stephen. How are you? Zillionaire evening. Awesome. Run when you hear them say they have no plan for the coaching program of $15K a year and laughing at 100 students that jumped in. Yeah. You know, that's a real shame. There's some of these 7-figure income earners that are sending out business loans to programs they know are going to implode.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like it doesn't get any darker than that, guys. Truthfully.
Yeah, horrible.
You know, you're sending out loan applications. So that means the person doesn't have the money and they're going in debt so that you can line your pocket and you know the business is going to blow up and go under. Wow. Wow. That is sad. Okay. Newbie here. Very impressed with Josh Cousins. Awesome. There's tons more interviews. I don't know if it's Ev or Evie, whatever you go by, but there's a whole string of interviews. I think that I've done 7 or 8. Jennifer and Jose's interview was phenomenal. Last night we interviewed Sandra and Lewis. They were so broke they were donating blood to eat. Okay.
Wow.
And they've now made $200,000. They've got 100 corporate sponsors. They travel around in this huge RV with their 2 kids. They're now going to be in a movie. Okay. And now they're signing consulting contracts. They're doing marketing deals and all of the stuff. If you watch last night's interview, it's actually on my wall. They talk about a lot of the same things. The interesting thing is you'll hear the same language coming out of every single one of these interviews, just like what Josh is doing right here. It's pretty wild. Okay. Amy says, hey, Josh.
Hey,
Amy, call me before you leave town if you're still in Vancouver. Let's get together. What an introduction. Josh, you're amazing. Awesome. Standing ovation. Thanks for the invite. Josh is in the house. Okay, some more tags. Amy says, you're welcome. Awesome. Leslie says, hey, Josh. Okay, guys. So what I'm looking for here, because there's a lot of people that are just putting hays and tags and whatnot. What I'm looking for is actual questions. Can't wait to reach my first 10K. Still manifesting. I'll reach it in time. Well, Adrian, hopefully you're a millionaire mentoring, quite honestly, because if you're not, you're going to spin your wheels. I'll tell you that's why the failure rate is so high, guys. It's at 97%. Okay, 97%. This kid is a kick. Okay, wow. Being coachable is key. What a story. Thanks for sharing all this. Absolutely. Great value and story. Repeat after me. I'm worthy of 1K days. Well, Josh had a $10,000 day, so we're gonna have to up your worthiness there. Okay, what a heart-touching story. Wow. Congratulations. Okay, we're looking for actual questions, guys. Questions. been waiting for this interview. So happy to tune in live. What was the final trigger point to make you fully coachable?
So for me, I don't know if you were there early on in the call, but I'll go more in depth now. So, like I explained my story, I was kind of, I had a rough childhood, so I always had a chip on my shoulder. And, I got a job. I had quit my job. And then I had came back to my mum's house with a couple grand in my bank account. That's the money I saved from 2 years working a job, 12 hours a day, 5 days a week, sometimes 6 days a week. And that 2K I'd spent on ads for a drop shipping store I was running. And I lost all that money. And I was like, crap, I'm gonna have to go back to job if I don't get my stuff together. And then I remembered, right, that I had invested into Millionaire Mentoring a year and a half ago. And I was like, wait a minute, okay, let me pay the admin fee, let me get back up, let me go for the training. That's exactly what I did. And that right there was the breaking point. When you got your back against the wall, there's no way to not succeed. You really are 10x in your chances, 100-fold, even when you got your back up against the wall, because you have nothing to lose. None of us have anything to lose. We're here once. Everything you have now is just an accumulation of BS, to be honest. You're going to lose it anyway one day, so why not just go all in and enjoy the time you got now? That's the kind of mindset I have.
Okay, tell me about how to handle distractions while building your biz when you have a lot of frustrations and bills to pay.
Again, that was a pretty good question. Again, back when I had got started, I had a million distractions. Like my mum, my mother was an alcoholic, so I was arguing. I had the police called on me a couple of times. I was getting a bunch of crap. Really bad distractions. It's pretty bad distractions. I had no money. I was suicidal thoughts. You name it, I had everything. And for me, you need to kind of have some self-awareness. You need to take a step back, look at your life, and then you need to come down to reality. Like if you have bills to pay and you're struggling, then you need to kind of take a step back and realize you don't want this. And it literally is just a case of reprogramming your brain to do the stuff that nobody wants to do, and that's just be coachable. Really, yeah. That is it.
And I think to add to that, Amanjeet, you have to engulf yourself in personal development. That's what every single one of my students will tell you. Okay, a minimum of 1 hour per day, minimum. Okay, you have to be very conscious of your thoughts, your words, and your emotions, and you have to start being the observer of yourself. So you have to be both the participant and the observer both at the same time as you're walking around. Okay, so that's called split consciousness. I go into that in great detail, but that's really where it starts to. It's like kind of waking up. Coming out of a waking trance, waking up to your true power, your true potential as a human being, to realize that we create our own realities, guys. We create our own realities. Gornthip says, inspiring, permission to share with my 17-year-old son. Absolutely. Kenya is in the house. I see your weightless shoulders. Well, he's made $250,000. He's probably pretty. Okay, yes, please share this with them. Us younglings have so much potential. Okay, being coachable is key. Thank you, Darren. Congratulations, Josh. Awesome. Okay, guys, we're looking for some questions. Okay, here's one. Also discuss how to handle the fear factor when you don't know what you want to do and keep on procrastinating. I'd say Millionaire Mentoring is the answer to that one. But.
Definitely. I mean, it really is, and if you don't know what to do, again, I just think it's just a case of just sitting down, taking a step back and reevaluating your life and really just take action. Don't spend months thinking about, oh, what should you do? What business should you get in? Just dive straight into personal development. Really, you'll go far.
Absolutely. How did you break that sense of lack and poverty mindset? What flicked that switch?
Good question. I that poverty mindset. I was brought up in poverty. Like $600-700 a month. House falling down, no water, no electricity. Sometimes, God, you name it. Like fights all the time in the house. It was crap. It was really crap. And for me, again, it was that my back was against the wall, and that just made it was like an epiphany. It was, you wake up in the morning like out of a movie, and you know what to do for some reason. You know that you got to sit your ass down and just be coachable and do the training, do what needs to be done, and that's exactly what happened to me. Um, I feel like it happens to a lot of people where they just wake up, or there's a day that just happens to them, like a really bad day, and like, I don't want any of this anymore. And that's exactly what happened to me. And then from there, your mind changes a little bit, and once you start jumping into personal development, then your mindset just grows tremendously. Like a vertical stat. Like just like this, it goes like that. So that's how you get rid of it. Just jump into personal development and start taking action.
Just to add to that, Leslie, let me just explain what happens, okay? Human beings are creatures of habit, okay? So what happens is that you get into a routine, like but up, wake up the next day, but up. So you have a pattern that you go through, okay?
Yeah.
And it's not until you reach a breaking point, okay? It's the breaking point that triggers the switch, that puts a person into action. And then the personal development, what the personal development does is it takes your self-worth from the poverty zone up into a higher zone where you start to love yourself more, to feel worthy. And once that happens, the income comes up. So you do more personal development and the income comes up. Okay. This is why I tell people that we're really in the personal development industry, and people, it doesn't make sense to them, but it has to do with your self-worth. Your net worth will never, ever exceed your self-worth. So you have to always be bumping up your self-worth. And I'm not talking about from a standpoint of a person's ego, because what we have to do as leaders is be humble and be a servant leader to the people. That's the key in our industry. Okay, it's all about being a humble servant leader. It's not about look how great I am. It's look how many people I can help get to freedom. That's what you should be focused on. Okay, it's not about you. It's about the people. Okay, so hopefully that helps. Hopefully that helps. What kind of service do you guys provide? High ticket education or products? Mostly millionaire mentoring, Adrian. The breakthroughs, really, like all these stories of all these people are people that have gone through millionaire mentoring, and we teach them how to make 1K per day online. So we've now got people making $2,000, $3,000 days, but it's all about helping them to learn the strategies, the organic strategies, like what Josh learned. And it's just a matter of them being coachable and understanding what to do. Okay. What keeps you humble and grounded?
That for me, I was I don't know. I feel like that's just something in my character. I'm not someone who's flashy. I don't believe in that way of marketing. I just don't. For me, it's just being real, being relatable. I feel that's a huge, massive part of it. And yeah, like I came, like I said, I came from a really crappy background, and for me, I really don't want to lose that, and I really hope I never lose that. It really does keep me grounded. I can easily relate to other people, what they're going through. And I love it. I'm not flashy. I could easily do it, but I don't know. I feel like it's just a part of me, and I think it's the way to go. Just being humble. It's an amazing character quality.
On that note, just to add to that, here's the thing. Most people get into our industry because they think it's about selling products, okay, and the money that they can get for themselves. When you take the focus off of you and you put it onto the people, it's not about you anymore. So like Zig Ziglar says, if you help enough people get out of life what they want, you'll get out of life what you want. So when you here's what I say to people. If you're ever feeling down, if you're ever having a really bad day, take the focus completely off everything that's going on in your life and go out and make it a goal to make people smile, give people compliments, and ask people questions to find out what's going on in their life. And what you're going to find, it will change your state. And by the end of the day, you'll feel great again. Okay. But when you put the focus onto the people and making a difference in other people's lives, when you bring those people up, that's how you can remain grounded. It's all about the people, guys. It's about the people. It's not about you. And when you make that distinction, It will totally change the game for you, guaranteed. Okay. You're such an old soul. I couldn't be any prouder of you, says.
Thank you. Make me blush.
Oh, that's awesome. You know, I got to tell you, Josh, I'm so proud of you because you've really, you know, it's like you've made what I call a quantum leap. Okay, I talk about it in quantum physics training. You've made a quantum leap, like you have morphed into a new person.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
So the cool thing here, guys, is that not only has he gone out and changed his life by surrendering his pride and his ego and be coachable, he's now got his own place. He's now found a great girlfriend. Now they travel around. She's in the industry. She supports him on this path, which is very, very important. I got to tell you, as an online marketer, because people in the regular world, they don't understand us, John. Right? Am I right?
It's a super important part to have your partner, to have people around you that kind of support you on that. If not, it's such a hard thing to keep moving forward when you've got people around you that are doubting you.
Okay. How do you handle feelings that we will get rejected or won't be able to make sales?
Again, that's something for me where it all comes down to personal development. For me, it was really jumping into personal development, building myself up to the point where you shouldn't fear rejection. Because if you fear rejection, and of course it is a part of the human mind and how we work as humans, right? We fear it. We don't want that. It's uncomfortable. But you got to just minimize it. And once you minimize it, you will have a breakthrough. Trust me, you will. Because you can go from 1,000 no's, and if that doesn't affect you, it's the best, because you're gonna have way more no's than you are yeses. Okay, that's the fact. Doesn't matter what you're selling, doesn't matter how good your webinar is or whatever it is, you're always gonna have more no's than yeses. And if you can position yourself in a place where you can, dive into personal development, build a mindset where you just don't, you kind of just reject rejection. That's exactly where you want to be. And for me, it was this personal development, being on that journey that really got me to that point.
Amanjeet, on that one, just so you know, we actually give you the line by line what to say to people, like line by line, sentence by sentence, to take somebody from an interested prospect to $1,000. Okay, so there's a lot of companies out there that will say, well, you don't have to do anything. Like, we'll close the deals for you. We'll do this. I don't believe in that because it doesn't produce leadership. Okay. I want to show you what to do so that you can step into your power like Josh has, and then you can become a ripple. So he can become a ripple in his family, a ripple in his community, a ripple in his church, a ripple globally because he stepped into his power. So don't think necessarily that these things where they're done for you and blah, blah, blah are necessarily the greatest thing, because you're not going to grow as a person and you're not going to step into your personal power to be able to lead. This is about leading people to victory, leading people and helping to create other leaders. Okay. The leader isn't looking to get followers. The leader's looking to create more leaders. The leader wants to lift people up to create more leaders. Am I correct? Is that now your mentality?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a leadership business model. That's what it is.
Okay, so Mark Prestwood says, congratulations on your evolution from the victimhood to leadership. Phenomenal. It's been great to watch it happen because we've watched it. And that's the other thing. Don't be afraid to let people watch you grow.
Yeah, definitely not. Definitely not. For me, I just embraced it. Open hands, embraced it.
How long did it take you before you noticed a change and breakthrough in your life?
Pretty much a couple weeks. A couple weeks for me did it for me. Jumped in. Went for the training in Millionaire Mentoring. Sat down for as long as I possibly could. Every single second of the day. If I could put some time towards it, I would. And within a few weeks, it completely changed my life. And then from there, it never looked back. And from there, it's just been up. So a couple of weeks, all it takes to change your life.
And that's really true. Like I don't know if you guys have watched the interview with Samuel Mojica Jr., But, you know, he said, Darren, what do I have to do to go to the top? And I said, watch these 3 videos 6 times in a row. So he watched them 8 times in a row. And that took him about the first 4 or 5 days. Day 6, I think he had a $1,500 day, and it was pretty much $1,000 all the way to the end. He made $23,000 by the end of the month. Okay, he was 21 years old when he started in Millionaire Mentoring. So, but he was coachable. He was coachable. So he didn't say, you know, Darren, what do I do? Watch these 3 videos 6 times in a row. Okay, well, you know, I'm going to get back to that. I got this other SEO thing I'm working on, and I'll let you know about that. I'll get to the training videos later. He didn't do that. He listened to exactly what I told him to do. So that's really the key. What's the one tip you would give to broke Josh at 17 years old?
Be goddamn coachable, son. That's exactly what I would say. I would slap my head, slap myself around the head and just really drill it in my head. Just be coachable. Yeah, that's literally it. I really would. I was such an egotistical, arrogant little boy. That's exactly what I was. And it's crazy to think that was only 3 years ago, because I'm a completely different person now. But yeah, being coachable, taking things in with open hands, and actually listening to people who have done what you want to do. That's what I would advise anyone to do. If you're not doing it, yeah. I mean, if you're doing it now, you should be successful.
Absolutely. Okay. Why did you even buy Millionaire Mentoring to begin with if you were not even going to do anything with it?
The plan was to do something with it, but I was 17, did not go through the training, not one single one. I saw, I was told to go through the video 6 times, and it was 3 videos. One of them was 2.5 hours long, the other one was quite long, all above like an hour and a half. And I was like, 6 times? Are you serious? No way I'm doing that. I haven't got time for that. So I was like, you know what? I know what I'm doing. I'm going to start posting on Facebook, posting in random Facebook groups, and I'm going to get people to join. And that was the plan. I tried that for 6 months. I made like 2 sales. And that was it in 6 months. Gave up after that. And and then a year later after that, got back into it and did the right thing, which was go for the training. And now here I am. 250K online.
Yeah, and 4 months, guys. So he went from, the spinner, which is what most people do, and then he finally reached his breaking point, and he decided he was going to surrender his pride and his ego and watch the training like we told him to. And from that point, in 4 months, he made $100,000, like literally from 0 to 100,000, like that, right? That's what is possible. How long did it take you from the time you started watching the training till you had your first $1,000 day?
That was around like 3-4 weeks. What I did those first 3-4 weeks, basically first month, was I didn't rush myself into it. I dived in and I was like, okay, this is going to be a few weeks of personal development because I need to work on myself. I had suicidal thoughts. I didn't want to be here no more. I, was living in a shitty household. My mind was completely all over the place. So for me, I just dedicated those few weeks to better myself. And then literally from there on, it was a few days. And then after that, it just was like a butterfly effect. It like a snowball. It kept on coming, kept on coming, kept on coming. And from that point there to month 4, I was sitting on 100K. So, and I did all of that just after I turned 18. So,
Okay, so we're looking for some actual questions, guys, to Josh. Okay, to Josh. Some questions to Josh. Anybody? Questions to Josh, okay? Any final ones? Okay. Okay, guys. So just to give you a little bit of an update, the 10K Side Hustle Showdown, the Millionaire Mentoring Intensive that I was, that I'm just rolling out right now, this morning, it was completely sold out. There's no more room left in that. But in the event that you do want to learn the 1K per day Facebook formula that Josh learned and that I've taught all my other students, right underneath this video, there's a Get Started Now button, and that will go over to another video where you can actually see kind of a live training class there. You'll probably get some, take some notes on that because there's some great value there. And then underneath that, there's a whole bunch of testimonial videos from students. And I'm talking about You know, some of them were 18 years old. I think the 18-year-old kid made 11 grand his first month. The biggest 30-day story that I have from somebody was $45,000 in his first 30 days. Okay. And keep in mind, a lot of these people are people that used to go spend a ridiculous amount of money on traffic. And then when they learned this formula, they're like, oh my God, this is amazing. And you'll see just testimonial after testimonial after testimonial. And if you want to chat, feel free to reach out. Josh, phenomenal, brother.
Thank you. Thank you. Really appreciate it. I hope you guys feel inspired and feel able to help some of you out. I really do hope it has. I mean, that's one of the first times I've ever really kind of went in depth on my childhood and that side of things. So I really hope it can make some of you believe in yourself a little bit more, because, you know, I started from nothing, you know, absolutely nothing. So yeah, I mean, anything is really possible. You know, if you just kind of invest in yourself, be coachable, surrender your ego, you know, you'll kill it. Absolutely. Kill it. So,
guys, thanks a lot for joining us. We're going to wrap. We're past the time right now. We've gone a little bit. We get 6 minutes over time. You know, keep an eye out. Anytime a success story comes like this, I love to be able to showcase the people. It's all about them, their success stories. And I appreciate the interaction. Appreciate you guys following this story. And my name is Darren Little from Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. We've got Josh Cousins, 20 years old, $250,000 in Millionaire Mentoring. Bro, once again, standing ovation.
thank you so much
For joining us here, and have a great day, guys. All the best.
Take care, guys. Bye.